Hey everyone, I'm Six-Path Weeb, and welcome back. Today, we're exploring a what-if scenario in the Naruto universe. What if Naruko became a dual-bloodline shinobi during her fight with Sasuke? Part 2. Before we dive in, a quick note, this content is purely for entertainment and discussion. I don't own any anime footage used, full credit goes to the original creators. Let's jump right in and see where this alternate path takes Naruko. Previously on Boiling Ice, of Fire and Wind. I see. Right now, I need to find a replacement for Sasuke in Team 7 and an additional user of medical ninjutsu. Can you handle both? Hiruzen asked, and Haku thought it over. She was about to suggest something else when she felt someone gently place their hands on her shoulders. She looked up to see both Sakura and Naruko smiling at her reassuringly, as if to say it was okay to be honest. Hokage-sama, I am sure I can handle both jobs, Haku finally said. Hiruzen quickly filled in the blanks on the paperwork. Besides, I will feel happier if I get to spend time with my new younger sister, she added with a teasing sparkle in her eyes, causing everyone to giggle and Naruko to pout. Just don't treat me like a baby. I left that life behind years ago, Naruko muttered. But the playful laughter around her made her cheeks warm, and she realized she didn't mind feeling a little embarrassed among friends. After submitting the rest of the report to Hiruzen, Team 7, now complete with Haku, went for a leisurely walk to spend the day however they wished. They discussed small everyday concerns, Sakura's parents, Hinata's crush on Naruko, and other little mysteries of their lives, all wondering which should be addressed first. Cool hot girl. Naruko was startled by Sakura's cheerful shout. She turned to see no one else around. What are you thinking about? Sakura asked, her eyes sparkling. Just trying to figure out whether to visit Hinata or your parents, MMP. Naruko was cut off as Sakura playfully covered her mouth. I know what we're going to do. We're going to visit Hinata, so you finally notice her feelings for you, Sakura said with determination. What about you and Haku? Naruko asked, curious. Are you going to tell Hinata too? She hasn't heard about my new sister, or how friendly Haku and I are. The two girls giggled and surrounded Naruko, giving her a playful peck on each cheek. Not even worried about what Hinata might think? About what this could mean for you personally? You are the sweetest little sister I could ever have, Haku said softly. Naruko blushed, realizing she had worried for nothing. Meanwhile, in the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen was buried in paperwork, but this time, he was using his secret weapon, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He remembered the surprising source of his inspiration, Naruko herself. Flashback to the Hokage's office. But seriously, Gigi, you still haven't figured out how to defeat paperwork? I've been waiting. Naruko had exclaimed, earning a playful scolding from the Hokage. I know, my dear. My successor hinted at the secret, but he was stubborn and wouldn't reveal it without a challenge. Eventually, one of my students helped me, Hiruzen said dramatically, causing sweat drops to form on everyone else's necks. Why not use Kage Bunshin? They're solid and their memories return when they are dispelled, Naruko suggested, pointing out the obvious solution. Hiruzen paused, then facepalmed, realizing how simple it had been all along. End of flashback. Back in the present, Hiruzen's clones were busy writing and carrying paperwork, while he enjoyed the newfound freedom to read his favorite books. The quiet was interrupted by a knock. Come in, Hiruzen called. The visitors were unsurprising, Sakura's parents and some of Hiruzen's old teammates. What brings more headaches to my office today? Hiruzen asked smoothly, earning shocked expressions from the visitors. We demand that Sasuke-sama's punishment be lifted and that his status as a shinobi be restored, Koharu said firmly. Hiruzen's patience showed in his calm reply. Unless there is proof that my decision was unfair, Sasuke's fate will not change. Now, why are you here? He turned to Sakura's parents. We heard our only daughter is spending time with the dangerous girl you placed on her team. We want Sakura to forget that influence and focus on Sasuke instead, Mebuki and Kazashi Haruno declared. Hiruzen sighed. I should have guessed you'd complain to me instead of your daughter. But if anyone here has proof of wrongdoing, present it now. Before more words could be said, the room filled with a quiet, powerful energy from Hiruzen. The visitors shivered, realizing their arguments would not sway him. With calm authority, he showed reports from Kakashi Hatake verifying all facts, clearing any misunderstandings about Naruko and her team. And as for you two, Hiruzen said, turning to Sakura's parents, we are going to have a long talk about how to support your daughter's happiness. Slowly, they sat, realizing they had much to learn about trust and love in their child's life. Don't worry, We will wait our turn to talk to Hinata about what is happening. Just don't forget to give her a reminder about that, Sakura said, which finally made Naruko feel relieved. With no other doubts or incidents, the new Team 7 arrived at the Hyuga compound, the place where the clan personally lived. Halt! Of course, such an important place had gate guards. One of them, awake on duty, raised his hand and spoke firmly. What business do you have in the Hyuga compound? We wish to speak with the heiress, since this is about her fellow rookies, Naruko said politely and straight to the point. She then took something out of her pocket. The Hokage gave me this before we left his office. The guard looked at the paper. It allowed Team 7 to enter the compound, complete with the Hokage's signature. Fine. But make sure you have it ready in case Yashi-sama asks why a bunch of visitors are in his compound, the guard said politely, as though he wanted to avoid trouble for Team 7. Naruko nodded, and they were guided to Hinata's room. Soon, they reached the door on the second floor, the third door to the left from the stairs. Sakura and Haku held the pass, ready to explain the reason for their visit if anyone else asked. Naruko knocked gently and a soft voice from inside said, "Come in." "Hello, Hinata." Naruko greeted as she stepped inside and closed the door behind her. Hinata squeaked and covered her face in a blush. She does blush when around me, that's a good sign. Naruko thought as she sat nearby. How have you been? I've been good, Hinata said in her quiet, gentle voice. Naruko found it adorable, smiling brightly in response. But soon, her expression became serious, and Hinata realized Naruko was here for something important. But more importantly, is it true that you had a crush on me? Hinata felt a flutter of nervousness. This was a moment she couldn't afford to fumble. Yes, Naruko-kun, Hinata admitted, surprising herself by speaking clearly. Ever since I saw your bravery and your strong spirit to face life with a smile, I wanted to be your friend. I hope to share courage with you while you share warmth and kindness with me, so neither of us has to feel lonely. Naruko raised an eyebrow, then smiled and suddenly hugged Hinata tightly. Hinata's cheeks warmed, but instead of embarrassment, she felt joy. Naruko's head rested gently on her shoulder, and Hinata felt a few tears of happiness. Naruko-kun, Hinata whispered. I now see everything, Naruko said softly, her voice full of emotion. I've kept you worrying about me rejecting you. And I feel the same sometimes. But you don't have to worry anymore. We can be friends, truly. Hinata cried gently into Naruko's shoulder, feeling comforted and safe. Thank you, Naruko-kun. I will give everything I have to be your friend. Count on it. Naruko smiled warmly, feeling her heart lighten as she realized she had made a friend who could one day become even more special in her life. Meanwhile, somewhere mysterious. A vast, shadowy cavern stretched out in darkness, with only the faint outline of a giant statue that looked ancient and wise. Its eyes were covered, and it held a large scroll in its mouth. Around it, the ground seemed to shift magically, showing strange shapes of light and shadow. Leader-sama, why are we here? I was busy creating new wonders, one of the magical shadows asked in a faint voice. I am here to observe, said the leader, a figure with spiky hair and calm, shining eyes. We must understand what the world's young heroes are learning and how they grow. Their courage may one day change everything. Yes, Leader-sama, replied the shadows, bowing slightly. The leader gazed at the statue thoughtfully. Soon, these young hearts will shine brighter than anyone expects. Our role is to watch, guide if necessary, and let their kindness spread. The world is ready for hope, not fear. The shadows nodded and slowly vanished into the ground, leaving the statue standing silently in the cavern. In the distance, a warm light flickered, an unknown promise of adventure, friendship, and bright futures waiting to bloom. Not even Naruko, with her heart full of courage, knew how much brighter her journey would soon become. A couple of weeks had passed since the mission to Wave officially ended, and things in the village were slowly calming down after the Hokage decided to keep Sasuke as a civilian rather than a shinobi, primarily to monitor his unique bloodline. As soon as the word spread, the villagers roared for the Hokage to reconsider, calling Sasuke the tricky brat and insisting he might betray us because they just knew it. But Hiruzen, ever the wise leader, refused to act rashly. Instead, he kept his calm, just like the wise professor he had once been in the old days. Meanwhile, Team 7, now officially including Haku in place of Sasuke, waited on the bridge within the village, hoping their teacher, Kakashi, would show up on time. Given the urgency of their team's reorganization, they were anxious. And yet, as usual, they were mistaken. Really? Do you think Sensei would notice that we still need to work on our teamwork? Naruko complained, lying on the railing and staring at the soft blue sky that reminded her of Hinata. Her teammates smiled at the sight. Sakura was quietly happy that her friend had finally found someone to care for and confide in, while Haku felt proud that her little brother figure, Naruko, was improving both in life and in confidence. It seemed like the universe had finally decided to give her a little nudge toward happiness. If you're tired of waiting, you could go over and take your girlfriend on another date, hot cool girl Tilda, Haku teased, her eyes sparkling as she gently nudged Naruko. Naruko blushed furiously but stayed silent. How could she argue with the truth? Everyone in the village had been talking about her budding relationship with Hinata, who had dreamed of this moment for so long. Did you really have to get Hinata-chan all excited after your little chat with her? Naruko whined softly, recalling the slightly awkward start of their dating adventures. Yet, in Hinata's eyes, the date had been perfect, and the Hyuga family even thought Naruko could serve as a gentle role model for their young heiress. Flashback, a couple of weeks ago. Inside Hinata's room at the Hyuga compound, Naruko had just finished her heartfelt moment with Hinata. Well, Hinata-chan, I should probably let your other guest have their turn, they seem to want to talk about something mysterious, Naruko said, flashing her usual mischievous grin. Hinata giggled, watching how Naruko could flip from earnest to playful in an instant. Okay, Naruko-kun. I'll see you later, Hinata said. Naruko left the room, and in her place appeared Haku and Sakura. Sakura-san? And? Who are you? Hinata asked, puzzled by the new guests. Of course, it's our first meeting, but my name is Haku. I was welcomed into your village after Naruko-kun brought me here for a fresh start, a real home, Haku said politely, shaking Hinata's hand. Also, I am adopting Naruko-kun as my little sibling as soon as I can establish my home here. Hinata's eyes widened in surprise. But why Naruko-kun? Any child in this village could be your sibling. Haku laughed softly. True, but Naruko-kun is the kindest, bravest person I've ever met. She even begged the Hokage to allow me into the Shinobi Corps. Hinata couldn't help but giggle at the image of Naruko pleading so earnestly. Finally, Hinata asked with determination, how can I help both of you? The two girls exchanged glances and nodded. We want to see how much you truly care for Naruko. Hinata's face immediately turned bright red.
Well, she stammered, struggling to find words. I love her because she
never rejects me. Hinata's honesty stunned everyone, then brought smiles all around. Is that all? Because your crush accepted you after all this time? Haku teased gently, and Hinata nodded, still blushing. Then we will help you learn how to date my little sister properly. Outside, Naruko waited patiently, pacing a little while the girls finished their girl talk. When Hinata finally emerged, her smile lit up the evening. How did it go, Hinata-chan? Naruko asked, trying to hide her nerves. It went well, Naruko-kun. Your teammates are kind, and they're going to help us without any trouble, Hinata said, looping her arm through Naruko's. Feeling confident, Naruko suggested, since it's lunchtime, how about we go to your favorite restaurant? I've got enough from the Wave Mission rewards to treat us both, and maybe even a few cinnamon buns for dessert. Hinata's eyes sparkled with delight, and the pair set off, sharing a meal filled with laughter and stories. Afterward, they strolled through the park, eventually reaching the top of the Hokage monument. Together, they watched the sunset, reflecting on their perfect day. Well, Hinata-chan, I had so much fun today. Your wonderful company, Naruko said softly. Stop it, Naruko-kun. My face might just melt from blushing, Hinata replied, still flushed with happiness. As the day drew to a close, Naruko asked, how should we end our date? Hinata's smile grew even wider. She stepped closer, resting her chest against Naruko's and leaning in. Sensing what Hinata had in mind, Naruko tilted her head just in time to meet her lips. They shared a sweet, tender kiss, feeling a warmth and joy that neither had ever experienced before. Pulling back slightly, Naruko whispered, you taste wonderful, Hinata-chan. I could get used to this. Thank you, Naruko-kun, Hinata said, her face glowing. For this perfect day and the best first date ever. Naruko grinned. No problem. We'll have another date tomorrow, if you're up for it. Hinata pressed a finger to her lips, remembering the first kiss, and thought to herself, sure, Naruko-kun. I'm always ready for another date with you. Why not? It was so romantic, and you two really hit it off after that first outing. You're like the prize couple of the entire village, Haku said, teasingly. Naruko blushed but couldn't deny the truth. Ever since that first date, she and Hinata had gone on many little adventures together, each one bringing them closer. They held hands without a care in public and shared gentle pecks, inspiring other couples in the village to enjoy their own sweet moments. But back to the matter at hand, where was Kakashi? It had already been an hour, and surely that was enough time for their teacher to show up. And, of course, he did, 3 hours late, as usual. "Good morning, students," Kakashi greeted lazily. "Where were you?" everyone shouted, startled awake. "Sorry. I got lost on the road of life," Kakashi said, giving one of his infamous, half-serious excuses for his chronic tardiness. "The road of life doesn't have signs saying Chunin exam, sensei," Naruko said, smirking, enjoying the chance to tease him. Kakashi flinched, embarrassed. "Yes, well, this year it's our turn to host the Chunin exams. They start in a few months, so you'll need to train," Kakashi said, reaching for his book, but his hand met empty air. Naruko had it. "You're right, sensei. Training is important, and I only trust you to help us," she said confidently, holding a stick that looked like a tiny torch. She blew gently on it, making a playful flame flicker. And doing a bad job is better than doing no job at all, because at least trying shows effort. The girls nearby exchanged glances, hoping Naruko might playfully scare the lazy teacher with her little trick. Okay. I will teach you. Just don't hurt my precious book," Kakashi cried dramatically. Naruko grinned and tossed the book back safely, revealing faint ink squiggles across the pages. "When you opened it earlier, it sparked a tiny flame," Naruko explained. "I read about protective seals in the library. I made it so that anyone with less than kind intentions would see the book ignite. Consider this my anti-pervert seal." Kakashi groaned, realizing he'd been caught, while Naruko calmly smiled, satisfied with her plan. "Now, since we've wasted the morning with you, sensei, I'm taking Hinata on another date. She wanted this if you were late." Sakura and Haku, standing nearby, nodded. "He has a point. And you better be on time tomorrow, or we might just train ourselves," Sakura teased, leaving Kakashi to reflect on his own chaotic students. Meanwhile, Naruko and Hinata were sitting on a park bench, recalling their Jinan days, a topic that always brought laughter and fond memories. "So your teacher was late again," Hinata said with a small smile. She couldn't scold Naruko, though, since her timing for their little adventures was perfect. "Yeah," Naruko sighed, "the only important thing is that Kakashi signed us up for the Chunin exams with just a few months to train. If he keeps showing up late, we'll hardly have a month of practice. It's frustrating." Hinata gently pecked her cheek. Naruko's mood brightened instantly. "Hey, you two." Sakura and Haku appeared, having seemingly followed them. "Did we ruin your date?" Sakura asked with playful curiosity. Naruko smiled warmly. "We were just enjoying our time together. When our dates happen is our business." Sakura blinked, impressed. He didn't call me Sakura-chan in front of Hinata, showing respect and thoughtfulness. Naruko-kun is so noble, she thought. "Can we help you, or were we just in the way?" Naruko asked. "You can help," Sakura said bravely. "By going on dates with me too." Everyone froze. Hinata's eyes widened, and a hush fell over the group. Naruko raised a hand calmly. "If I were going to spend time with both of you, you'd need to agree on whose turn it is, unless you want to go together," Naruko said. "I can't manage if there's fighting or if I don't know both of you well. Understand?" There was silence, and Sakura finally spoke, her voice quiet but sincere.
I want to.
"But it's more than that. Ever since I saw how Sasuke hurt you for selfish reasons, my feelings for him faded. What I feel now, growing every time I see you act with kindness and courage. I hope being with you will help me understand these feelings better." Naruko smiled gently and placed her hand over Sakura's shoulder. "Thank you for being honest," she said. "I'm glad we can all care for each other in our own ways." The four friends laughed softly, enjoying the warmth of friendship and young love, knowing that even in a world full of challenges, kindness and honesty always lit the brightest paths. "Sakura, you are confused with your own feelings and are now trying to understand them. I am still your teammate, and I can't let myself abandon you when you are in times of need. But I wouldn't force you to love me, we are still strangers, and we can still become friends if it doesn't work out." That speech was enough for Sakura to forget her doubt and shamelessly hugged Naruko in a burst of joy and rising admiration for the spirited girl. "Thank you, Naruko. I know I am falling for the right person." Sakura's mind was filled to the brim with happiness and thoughts of a bright future. Naruko hugged her back warmly, then looked toward her other friend. "Come on, Hinata-chan, Don't miss out on the fun. Naruko's voice was gentle and welcoming, and Hinata didn't resist. She ran over and hugged Naruko, a soft kiss landing on her cheek. The scene caused everyone around to go awe at the sweetness of it. That is the Naruko-chan I know and admire, Hinata squealed as she sank into Naruko's warmth. Both girls yawned, and Naruko chuckled softly. Thanks for the comfort, girls. But today has been long. Why don't we head to our homes for a bit of rest so that we can get back to real training with Kakashi? Naruko suggested. Hinata kissed her cheek while Sakura gave a quick peck on the other. Sorry, Naruko-chan, but we just can't let you go. Our hearts make it hurt to do so, Sakura said, her voice tinged with shyness. Naruko rubbed her back with care, calming her instantly. That's fine, Sakura-chan. Hinata-chan and I wouldn't mind if you stayed. Just be ready for morning complaints about where you went, and we'll even help you out, Naruko said with a smile. Sakura's heart soared when she saw Hinata nod eagerly in agreement. After Haku left for her new home, Naruko took Hinata and Sakura to her newly bought home, a place she had managed to afford with the pay raise she earned after her work on the Wave mission. Often, Hinata was allowed to sleep over instead of returning to the Hyuga compound, and thankfully, the bed in Naruko's house was large enough for 5 average-sized people. That night, Naruko and her friends slept together peacefully, each warmed not by blankets but by the presence of friendship and trust. The next morning came, bright and sunny, but 3 of the house's occupants struggled to leave the comfort of their bed. Hinata, Sakura, and Naruko finally rose, stretching and yawning. Good morning, girls. How was your first night? Naruko asked politely, and both Hinata and Sakura immediately hugged her like she was their lifeline. It was wonderful. You were like a warm, steady rock. I'm glad you've been taking care of yourself, Sakura purred, teasing about Naruko's improved diet. Naruko had indeed grown stronger and healthier after learning to eat a balanced diet instead of relying on takeout. Thanks. I'm still kicking myself for not thinking of using henge to buy real food sooner, Naruko chuckled. The girls giggled along, the sound filling the cozy kitchen. Now, let's get dressed and have breakfast before we fall into an awkward situation, Naruko suggested. She changed in a separate room to respect everyone's privacy while the girls dressed. By the time they all reached the kitchen, Naruko had prepared breakfast. Over the 2 weeks she'd been dating Hinata, Naruko had learned to cook, enjoying the calm it brought her. The 2 girls' eyes lit up as they saw their favorite dishes laid out. Come now, my ladies, don't let your food go cold, Naruko said playfully, tapping their hands lightly. Embarrassed, the girls quickly began eating, while Naruko enjoyed her meal at a slower pace, savoring the quiet happiness around her. After breakfast, there was a knock at the door. Naruko answered to find Kazashi and Mebuki Haruno, Sakura's parents, standing politely outside. Hinata and Sakura peeked from the kitchen, surprised but silent. Is there anything we can do for you? Naruko asked courteously. Yes. Can you explain why our daughter is not at home and is instead here? Kazashi asked bluntly. Naruko invited them in with calm confidence. I assure you, Haruno-sans, your daughter came here of her own choice last night, Naruko explained gently. Mebuki frowned. We're not angry, just confused. Sakura usually wouldn't choose this over her own home. Naruko nodded, understanding their concern. 2 weeks ago, Uchiha-sama nearly endangered me during a mission. Sakura witnessed a lot of intense situations she wasn't prepared for. You see, she isn't here because she dislikes her family, it's because she trusts me to support her. The Harunos were silent, clearly troubled. Naruko continued, if your goal was to make Sakura a shinobi just to impress someone else, you risked her happiness and well-being. I want to help her grow in a way that keeps her safe and confident. Finally, Kazashi sighed. Very well, Naruko-san. If you can truly care for her and help her grow, we will trust your guidance. I will, Naruko said with quiet determination. I promise to be her friend and her support. I will work hard to be the best I can, so she can feel safe and happy. The Harunos left, humbled and impressed, and Sakura and Hinata immediately ran to Naruko, hugging her with joy and gratitude. It was a bright new beginning, a bond of trust, friendship, and care that promised many happy days ahead. After Hinata left for her own team, she gave Naruko a gentle goodbye kiss, leaving Naruko blushing deeply while Sakura giggled beside her. Come on, Romeo, Sakura teased, nudging her friend with playful energy. This is our chance to really be a team now that Kakashi promised to train us properly this time. Naruko shook off her flustered thoughts and nodded, following Sakura toward Training Ground 7. Sakura linked her arm through Naruko's, unable to resist the cozy warmth of her friend's presence. When they arrived, they were pleasantly surprised. Kakashi was already there, waiting for them at the meeting area. The one-eyed sensei glanced up and smirked beneath her mask. "Nice to see you two getting along," Kakashi said casually. "But save the hugs and kisses for a time when no one is watching." Naruko and Sakura both turned red at the comment, stammering slightly under Kakashi's calm observation. Before things could get too awkward, a familiar voice spoke from under a nearby tree. "But they do look cute together," Haku said thoughtfully, leaning against the trunk. Naruko's eyes widened. "Haku," she exclaimed, shaking off the comment with an embarrassed laugh. Sakura smiled at Naruko's reaction. "Focus, Naruko," she whispered, nudging her friend gently. Kakashi raised a hand to regain everyone's attention. "All right, let's start. Today, we're going to discover your elemental affinities." Naruko and Sakura leaned forward, curious. Haku's eyes lit up, already understanding what their teacher had in mind. Kakashi carefully placed 3 sheets of smooth, square paper on the ground in front of them. "What are those, sensei?" Sakura asked eagerly. "These are chakra papers," Kakashi explained, her voice gentle. "They are made from a special tree that reacts to chakra. By observing how the paper changes, we can discover which elemental nature is strongest in each of you. This helps us know where to focus your training." Naruko tilted her head, intrigued. "So we can find out if we're wind, fire, water, earth, or lightning?" "Exactly," Kakashi replied. "The paper wrinkles with lightning, burns with fire, soaks with water, crumbles with earth, and splits with wind." Haku went first, her paper splitting neatly in two and absorbing water, revealing her wind and water affinity. Sakura's paper crumbled slightly and soaked in water, showing earth and water. Finally, it was Naruko's turn. Her paper soaked, then split, and the pieces burst into a tiny flame before burning to ash. Even Kakashi raised an eyebrow at the unusual result. "Naruko," Kakashi said thoughtfully, "this is rare. You seem to have a dual affinity, like Haku. One is fire, and the other is water. You have an incredible potential to learn from both elements." Naruko's heart raced with excitement. "Really, sensei? That's amazing. Can we start training right away?" Kakashi nodded. "We'll begin with the basics of each element, and also correct some of your taijutsu stances. With practice, you'll be ready for anything by the Chunin exams." The rest of the day was filled with laughter, learning, and careful practice. Naruko and Sakura encouraged each other while Haku observed and offered subtle tips. By evening, their arms tired but their spirits high, Naruko walked Sakura home, feeling a warm sense of friendship and determination. When Naruko returned to her own home, she crawled into bed and drifted off to sleep. In her dreams, she imagined herself growing stronger, not just in skill, but in courage and heart, to protect her friends and share wonderful adventures together. And as the moonlight streamed through her window, Naruko's dreams were filled with hope, friendship, and the endless possibilities of tomorrow. Dear YouTube family, this is all for now. I hope you enjoyed the content and found it engaging, entertaining, or even a little inspiring. If you did, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. It truly helps me continue creating and bringing you more of the content you love. Your support means more than words can express, and every view, comment, and share motivates me to keep pushing boundaries and exploring new ideas. Thank you for being part of this journey. I look forward to bringing you even more exciting content in the future. With gratitude. 6 Path Weeb.